It's time for Saint Lucia Magazine, your monthly wrap-up.
Hello and welcome to Saint Lucia Magazine, our monthly news program reviewing developments in government across various sectors of education, the economy, infrastructure, and agriculture. I am your host, Nivalo Geist. In this August recap, Saint Lucia celebrates its first ever Olympic gold medal, and 2 civil society groups get a financial boost to advance their developmental programs. To begin the recap of August, St. Lucia erupted in unparalleled jubilation as Julian Alfred, the nation's indomitable sprint queen, etched her name and that of St. Lucia in history by claiming the island's first ever Olympic gold in the 100 meters, followed by another stunning performance that copped her the silver in the 200 meters, her triumphs igniting the pride of the entire nation. Here's Ryan O'Brien with the details.
St. Lucia erupted with screams of jubilation as sprint queen Julian Alfred produced St. Lucia's first ever Olympic medal with victory in the finals of the women's 100 meters in a time of 10.72 seconds at the Paris Olympics on Saturday. The performance was also a new national record over the distance. Watch parties were set up at different locations to build a sense of patriotism and support for athletes representing the country at the Games. St. Lucians from all walks of life, including Prime Minister the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, officials from the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, and avid sports lovers turned out to witness the historic accomplishment.
The Government of Saint Lucia has announced a significant allocation of $11 million to the Owen King European Union, or OKU, hospital, sourced from the Citizenship by Investment Program CIP funds. The funding will be directed towards clearing a backlog of outstanding bills to suppliers, some dating back over 8 years. These financial obligations have placed considerable strain on the hospital's budget and operational costs, which would have been an allocation to recurrent expenditures such as staff salaries, maintenance, and the procurement of essential supplies. Onika McCoy tells us more.
The Government of Saint Lucia presented a substantial monetary allocation of $11 million to the Millennium Heights Medical Complex and Owen King EU Hospital Board on Friday, August 23, 2024. The funds, sourced from revenue generated through the Citizenship by Investment Program and the government treasury, aim to address pressing financial challenges and clear outstanding debts within the healthcare institutions. The Millennium Heights Medical Complex, which includes the Owen King EU Hospital, the National Mental Wellness Center, and the Turning Point Rehabilitation Center, has been a cornerstone of healthcare delivery in St. Lucia. However, in recent years, the complex has faced financial difficulties that have impacted its ability to deliver optimal services. The government's timely intervention is expected to alleviate these challenges, ensuring that the complex can continue to provide quality healthcare to the people of St. Lucia.
About 4 weeks ago, the board was invited to a cabinet meeting to discuss the question of financing for the Millennium Heights Medical Complex. After the delivery of a passionate presentation and plea, the Prime Minister, recognizing the seriousness of the issues presented, instructed the Department of Finance to meet with the Millennium Heights Medical Complex personnel to craft a remedial action plan. During these discussions, the expenditure and financial profiles of the complex were validated and a plan was devised for redress. Today, we are witnessing one of the outcomes of these meetings.
The Minister for Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, Honorable Moses Jabaptist, emphasized that numerous discussions have taken place over the past few years, with the challenges faced by the island's medical professionals being a top priority.
But what I want to say to you is that this government is adamant, we are resolute, that even though the road to progress may find potholes occasionally, and even though we find mountains and hills that we must traverse, we will continue to focus on providing better health care for the people of St. Lucia. That is our focus.
St. Lucia recorded the lowest unemployment rate for the first quarter in over 15 years. First quarter unemployment averaged 11.4% between January and March 2024. That's down from 13.6% in the previous fourth quarter. Since July 2021, the government has implemented trailblazing initiatives like the Youth Economy Agency, MSME Loan Grant Facility, and the Community Tourism Agency to provide direct support to local entrepreneurs to help grow their businesses. A range of targeted government policies like VAT amnesties, tax reforms, business incentives, and a surge in the foreign direct investment under Prime Minister Pierre's leadership continues to drive down unemployment and inspire economic growth. Prime Minister Honorable Philip J. Pierre announced a donation of over $240,000 from the Citizenship by Investment Program, CIP, to the Seeds for Justice initiative, a project focusing on addressing violence and promoting economic prosperity in vulnerable communities. In another donation, the Ayanola Council for the Advancement of Rastafari, ICA, received $20,000 to support the organization's efforts to honor the legacy of Caribbean luminary Marcus Mosiah Garvey, a prominent civil rights leader known for his advocacy of Black empowerment and Pan-Africanism.
The Ubuntu movement, as you know, they're involved in the Seeds Project, and the Seeds Project is a social intervention project aimed at reducing the level of violence and the level of deviant behavior for young people generally, and more specifically in the South. So it's my privilege to hand over to the manager of the project the check that will ensure that we have 1 year's budgetary support for the Seeds Project.
The government has always advocated that we know our history. We know where we came from and where we are going. If you don't know where you came from, you never know where we're going. So we've made this small contribution to ICA, who continue to promote the history of our people, the history of our country.
St. Lucia and Taiwan have announced a series of new initiatives aimed at advancing the government's People First development agenda. These bilateral cooperation projects are designed to strengthen community infrastructure against climate hazards, enhance the capabilities of first responders, and implement social programs to develop human capital. Taiwan has committed $5.6 million towards these projects, with the government earmarking funds for 6 key initiatives: Castries East Drainage Project in Bagatelle, community centers in Castries North and Castries East, and a local government community project, the West Coast Sub-Fire Station, the Youth Economy Agency's Innovation Hub, and TVET Transformation. The government expressed its gratitude to the government and people of Taiwan for their ongoing support. The government is taking steps to improve the economic fortunes of workers with the introduction of a new minimum wage, ensuring no worker earns less than $1,130 per month starting October 1st, 2024. The minimum wage was last reviewed in 1985. Additionally, the implementation of significant pension reforms will see an increase in monthly payments to over 3,000 pensioners of the public service and the National Insurance Corporation, NIC. The announcement came in Prime Minister Honorable Philip J. Pierre's address to mark the observance of Emancipation Day on August 1st. Melissa Paul has the details.
On this 1st August 2024, my government is implementing the first ever new minimum wage for the workers of this country, which is effective from 1st October 2024. No worker in this country will earn less than $1,130 a month, or $52 daily, or $6.52 per hour. 13,000 people are expected to benefit immediately with salary increases as a result of that policy.
Prime Minister Pierre explained that while the new minimum wage was legally implemented on August 1st, 2024, it will officially take effect on October 1st. This grace period allows employers the necessary time to put their affairs in order and comply with the new law, ensuring a smooth transition for all businesses. Come October 1st, employees will see the benefits of the minimum wage reflected in their salaries and wages.
I want to encourage all employers to accept this act for greater equity in our society. There are whispers that some of you are planning to do otherwise. I want to discourage you from attempting to lay off workers instead of rewarding their years of hard work with this minimum wage. To do this would be to sow the seeds of discord, disenchantment, and probably criminal activity, which would be counterproductive for all of us in the long run. A contented workforce is a productive workforce.
Beyond the minimum wage, the Prime Minister announced significant changes to the pension system, recognizing the contributions of St. Lucia's retirees.
As of this day, 1st August, the monthly payment of all pensioners who have contributed so much to our development will increase to $725 monthly. No government pensioner will receive less than that amount. Likewise, no national insurance pensioner will receive less than $500 monthly, which amounts to an increase in payment for 3,438 pensioners from today.
Residents of Dennery North have received assistance to ease the squeeze of preparation for the 2024-2025 academic year. Chris Satney reports on the ceremony held to distribute education assistance packages to almost 300 constituents.
Preparation for this new academic year has been made easier for students residing in the Mabia Valley as their parents and guardians received monetary support on their behalf to purchase school books and supplies. Speaking to a packed Grand Riviere Human Resource Development Center ahead of distributing educational support packages to constituents, Education Minister and MP for Dennery North Honorable Sean Edward expressed his pleasure and that of the wider government in providing school assistance to the residents of the Mabia Valley. He thanked Prime Minister Honorable Philip J. Pierre for providing the funds for educational assistance as well as other programs undertaken in Dennery North to improve the lives of young constituents.
Oleon, Gadet, La Ressource, La Pelle, Richford, Grand Ravine, Grand Riviere, Belmont, anywhere in the valley has the ability and the potential to become a great citizen and a great professional once we can push them along the lines of education. Today you've come here to receive a check, and that check will not take care of all the expenses that you will have in relation to sending your child to school, but it is a help. It represents a contribution from the government.
Almost 300 needy families received checks to help with back to school through the St. Lucia Social Development Fund, the SSDF.
The Victoria Water Storage Facility, with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund, BNCF, and the Caribbean Development Bank, is improving water supply to residents of Choiseul. The storage facility is the latest milestone in efforts to bring a steady supply of water improvements to infrastructure in the community. To date, over $150 million have been invested in key sectors including road access and drainage, sanitation, education, and human resource development.
The St. Lucia Social Development Fund, the SSDF, a satellite agency of the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment, has joined forces with the Government of Saint Lucia and the Caribbean Development Bank, the CDB, to celebrate the commissioning of the Victoria Water Storage Facility. The ceremony, held on August 9, 2024, marked a significant milestone in improving water access for the residents of Choiseul and surrounding communities. The Victoria Water Storage Facility, a pivotal project in the Basic Needs Trust Fund, BNTF's 10th cycle, is the result of a rewarding partnership that began in 1979 between the St. Lucia government and the CDB. To date, over $150 million has been invested in key areas, including access and drainage, water and sanitation, education and human resource development, and livelihoods across the island. John Victorin, Executive Director of the SSDF, expressed his appreciation for the collaboration.
It is the mandate of the SSDF to improve the quality of life of the average St. Lucian. And it is one that we are passionately committed to, and we make every effort during every single working hour to ensure that we deliver on. This project is one of the many projects under the water and sanitation sector over the period of existence of the Basic Needs Trust Fund. Over 50,000 EC dollars has been invested in this sector over the years through a partnership between the St. Lucia Social Development Fund and WASCO. It is something that we are committed to doing, and we are looking forward during the 11th cycle, which should be starting in 2025, to provide another community with the opportunity to access water on a regular basis.
The new infrastructure is expected to enhance water access for multiple communities, including Montjacques, Belleville, Dakite, Fort Caco-Raveno, Morgouge, Victoria, Boisden, and Monsignor, among others.
The Central Statistical Office of St. Lucia has announced the publication of the first comprehensive report from the 2022 Population and Housing Census, PHC. This marks a significant milestone in their ongoing efforts to analyze and understand the nation's demographic, social, and economic dynamics. More in this report from Glenn Simon.
The totals in the table.
Sean Marthray, Director of Statistics at the Central Statistics Office, CSO, provided an update on the status of the National Population and Housing Census. The 2022 census marks a historic transition for the CSO, as it is the first in the region to utilize a computer-assisted personal interview approach, replacing the traditional paper-assisted interview method. This shift has enabled more efficient and accurate data collection, leveraging advanced technologies and methodologies, as outlined in the UN-ECLAC User Guide for Population and Housing Censuses, Revision 3.
The Central Statistical Office proudly announces the publication of the 2022 Population Housing Census Provisional Report. And this marks a milestone in our ongoing efforts to understand and analyze the social, economic, and demographic dynamics of our nation.
Marthray highlighted several significant enhancements to this census report, including the addition of an infographic section, improved disaggregation of tables, enhanced analytical analysis of key findings, and the inclusion of several CARICOM recommended tables. He emphasized that the goal is to make the report available to the public as soon as possible. The Director of Statistics shared key findings from the 2022 National Population and Housing Census. These include a decrease in average household size from 2.8 individuals in 2010 to 2.6 in 2022. Additionally, the report cites a high prevalence of diabetes and hypertension in the Castries and Grosley regions. The age dependency ratio has declined from 48.6 in 2010 to 44.5 in 2022, indicating reduced pressure on the working age population. Notably, while St. Lucia's population increased from 166,526 in 2010 to 172,948 in 2022, the growth rate has declined from 5% to 3.9%.
St. Lucia's Vector Control Unit of the Environmental Health Division has conducted a detailed review and evaluation of its interventions to protect the population from the spread of vector-borne diseases. The review and evaluation focused on monitoring mosquito activity and implementing improved methods to reduce the mosquito population. Onika McCoy has the details.
As part of an ongoing effort to monitor and combat insecticide resistance, the Vector Control Unit of the Environmental Health Division conducted an in-depth review and evaluation during a follow-up visit. This initiative is crucial to understanding and addressing the operational challenges faced in the implementation of the insecticide resistance testing. The follow-up visit involved comprehensive discussions with the vector control team, focusing on identifying and overcoming the barriers encountered during the testing process. The aim was to refine strategies and improve the effectiveness of the testing protocols to better control vector-borne diseases. Glenda Etienne Sipal, Environmental Health Officer in the Vector Control Unit, noted that this visit is a continuation of a capacity-building initiative between the Ministry of Health and the Caribbean Public Health Agency.
All our vector control officers took part in that exercise last year. And today, what we're doing is just an evaluation, basically assessing the objectives of what happened last year. We have the facilitators from the Caribbean Public Health Agency here with us for 2 days, today and tomorrow, and they're going to be basically shadowing us to assess the way that we're doing what we're doing coming from the training that happened last year.
Drawing on the findings from various data collection methods employed by the Vector Control Unit, the Environmental Health Officer explained the factors contributing to the noticeable increase in the mosquito population.
In St. Lucia, we tend to store water because we experience water emergencies, and in some communities there is an issue with a constant water supply. So I tend to say that it's almost in our culture to store water because we don't know when we're not going to get a constant supply of water in the pipe. So what we've noticed is that drums are the #1 breeding ground for mosquitoes because we tend to store water in the eventuality that we don't have water in the pipe. And the issue is not storing water storage. The issue is how we store the water. If we store the water properly, then the mosquitoes would not have options for them to lay eggs, and we would not have an increase in the mosquito population.
Buoyed by the performance of Julian Alfred at Paris 2024, the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports has set its sight on improving sporting infrastructure across the island. The upgrade of several sporting facilities will see attention being placed on the Philip Masley grounds, the multipurpose court in VA4, as well as playing fields in Canneries, Balata, and Laguerre. Ryan O'Brien has that story.
A number of sporting facilities from several parts of the island will be upgraded as the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports delivers on its commitment to observe the designation of 2024 being the Year of Infrastructure. Clivus Jules is the Acting Director of Sports.
We're focusing now on a few of the grounds that we have around, and some of them have not gotten some attention in quite some time. Chief amongst them is the Philip Masley ground in Vieux Fort. It will be getting some urgent and much needed attention. It had gotten hit by one of the tropical storms a couple of years ago, and that will be given some attention as well. The multipurpose court in Vieux Fort also is due to get some attention as well. The playing field in Canneries is high on our agenda to get some attention.
Jules noted there were a number of venues that have been used for sports but not given the attention necessary.
For example, Balata up in Babonneau would have provided us with service over the years and never had the infrastructure around it to accommodate. And as we want to strive to raise the quality of our sports, we want to raise the quality of the infrastructure around it.
The Department of Creative Industries and the Cultural Development Foundation coordinated yet another successful celebration of the Lawas Festival. The season opened with a grand séance in Monipo, Miku, and culminated with a grand fete, which included a church service and coronation, a procession through the streets of Castries, and the presentation of groups. I leave you with the highlights until our next recap. I am Niva Logist. Thank you for your attention. Vive la Wars!
C'est groupe la Rose là, zot ni pour faire travail là qui supposé fait pour zot ça ni séance à ces différentes communautés là.
Vive la Rose, vive la Rose. Moi dis vive la Rose encore. Vive la Rose. La 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 la.
I love La Rose since when I was 32 years. I am in La Rose, and I'm not giving up La Rose.
La Rose permettez nous pour nous déparer.
Bon, c'est ça qui fait moi, toi t'as où, c'est ça moi content. Moi j'aime La Rose en Chaï. Et puis tout le temps moi ça marche moi La Rose.
Grandparents were active mothers and fathers group members. So I have so many memories of them dressing up in their pink. I have my earliest and most vivid memory of Domwela was in the Cove in Ovilai Miku. So, you know, when I tell people that you're not going to Laos, they're like, just go, sir. I'm like, Moise was in Laos.
A while ago, a lady said to me, Laos must be in your heart. Acheo. And it is the same spirit of having Saint Lucia in your heart. Acheo.
Various groups from around the country, north, south, east and west, Moshi, Oleon, Lacouville in Miku, and Monrepo, and all of them, Labrie, they were all here and they had their moment. We saw young children, we saw the elderly, we saw all age groups, and it looks like towards the end there was a kind of a melange of all the groups coming together.
It's time for St. Lucia Magazine, your monthly wrap-up.